Ladies, gentlemen, they, thems, good evening. It's me, Sibs Matiela, and I'd like to welcome you to the Private Property Podcast, where we provide you with valuable knowledge and information on all things property. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, a seasoned investor, or you're just looking for some expert advice, we have got you covered. All you have to do is tune in every Tuesday and every Thursday at 7 p.m. for tips, insights, and expert advice on all of the burning topics that are related to property. Because this podcast is proudly brought to you by Private Property. Remember, you can find your new home on privateproperty.co.za. Welcome to the Private Property Podcast. On tonight's episode, we'll be celebrating the proliferation of female realtors in the property market. There's been an unprecedented spike in both the local and international property markets. Sisters are doing it for themselves and each other, honey, and dominating both the sale and acquisition of new property. Joining me in studio to unpack this topic is Katlego Moraneng, K as we know her, who is a CEO and founder of her own company called K Properties. But before we dive into that conversation, please remember to comment below, share your thoughts about today's show, and you can join the conversation by using the hashtag #FindYourNewHome on privateproperty.co.za and hashtag the Private Property Podcast on all social media. We'll be keeping an eye out for your posts, and we may even feature one of your comments on the show. Because this is the Private Property Podcast, where we provide you with all the information that you need related to all things property. Like I said before, we are joined in studio by K Moraneng, who is the CEO, honey, of her own property empire. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I am fantastic.
I'm going to say compliments because I'm one of those people who says compliments even if it's October. If I haven't seen you that year, I say compliments.
It's valid compliments. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you. I mean, you're looking great. You're doing great. Things are happening.
Yeah, well, I have to represent. I mean, the topic is about women empowerment and women in real estate. So it's only fair that I represent. And I hope I did a good job. Did I?
I'm hearing you, and I'm seeing you wearing green. Green for money, honey, which is what the sisters are doing. They're getting their money, honey, in the real estate industry. How did you come to property?
So before I entered the property industry, it was a struggle. It was a struggle for me to find employment, to just be okay, to, live lavishly.
Soft life,
and I knew that I had to go into business because if something is not working, you can't just stay in a place of self-pity. So for me, it was more of okay, let's approach this as an entrepreneur, let's just apply those skills. And I actually joined property for that reason, to say, okay, I like talking to people, I love challenges, and more than anything, you need to be passionate about this industry. And because it's such a difficult industry, if you're not passionate when things are shaky, it's not going to work. So for me, when I entered into this market, I knew that one, I had to be passionate about it. And before that, I had to do my research and know the ins and outs of property. And here I am today.
I love this journey for you, honey.
Yeah.
What keeps you here? What keeps you in the property market other than the chankura?
Like I said, passion, and the saying that when love fails, friendship prevails. So same applies with property, when the finances are not looking good. It can't always be good. It's property. It's difficult. It's a difficult market. It's doable, but it's not as easy as it looks. So I knew that I had to be passionate before I could actually be in it, in that zone of me making it in the property sector. So yeah.
So you've made it.
Not yet.
I love talking to you, Kate, because you let me ask you all sorts of nonsense and then you answer me.
No, I feel like there's still a lot to be achieved. And you asked me, you said, what keeps me going? When we had the pandemic and
hard time for lovers, hard time for everybody.
Everything was just bad.
Yeah.
Right? And I looked at the hygiene industry and I was like, oh my gosh, it's booming now. Like people need hygiene, facilities, sanitizers, it's commercial properties. And by saying that, I thought of property. We can't just limit property into residential. We have commercial, and when commercial wasn't doing so well, residential was doing okay because of the rentals. People were reluctant from buying, but because of the renting option as well, that started booming. And that's when I actually saw a gap for me to start advising people on property. So when everything just fails in property, something will stand. You need a roof over your head.
Absolutely.
So that's just why I'm even still here, why I'm still even pushing it.
Look, I know we're going to talk about women in property in a second, but given the current financial climate and what you've just said, people need roofs over their heads. What are you advising right now, renting or buying?
I'd definitely say renting.
Really?
Yeah, definitely say renting. However, buying works for some people when they do it cash. That has an upper advantage because there's no bond cost and you can't accumulate costs on that. But
and when the interest rates do the thing, then
and I think let's just be honest with ourselves. Let's have honest conversations regarding the market, what's happening right now. I think the rental market is booming. I'm getting a lot of clients that are shifting from the buying to renting. Everyone is contacting me for renting, and I think to just be safe. You don't just want to buy property because it's a trend. People are saying, this works now. People are advising that buy property, but look at your finances. What's working for someone else in terms of them buying might not work for you buying. What works for you might be rental. So look at that, rent property.
Okay, yeah. I'm hearing you. Speaking of renting and just the property market in general, it was, they said in 2020, I think it was the year 2020, they did the things that they do. Yeah. And it was found that, single women in South Africa are probably like the most people investing in property right now as it is. Yeah. Or the biggest percentage of property owners in the country. What do you think contributed to this and how is it that we can keep it going?
What I realized, what I noticed about women is that they have the power to influence. And when I look at the property sector, it's women from corporate joining the property sector. And when younger people look at women like that, oh my goodness, if she could do it, I can make it. I always tell people, and especially when I do my speaking events, to say, you don't have to have it all together to start property. And I mentioned the fact that when I joined, I did not have a car, I did not have a PC, I had nothing, but I knew my end goal. And because I saw it and I fixed my eyes on the end goal, that's why I am where I am today. Still a long journey, but I think, I'm fairly on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, you went from not having a car or a PC to now being the CEO of your own property company.
Yes. So women have the power to influence, and in so doing, we have also the upper hand of supporting one another to get to where we want to see ourselves. We always say that we are our sister's keeper. We want to see ourselves win, but that statement is seen in how you motivate and encourage other people who want to be in the property market. Not just, I want the limelight, I just want to be Kay. I want people to look at me and see, oh my gosh, it's Kay, oh, she's doing property. But if I really care about uplifting other women, then I need to be in a place, in a position of influence to encourage them and open those doors for them. Yeah.
So along your journey, who would you say are like the main women who actually just sort of got you going?
Well, one of them is Late, who was my coach. Her name is Yolandi. When I joined and 2 months passed and I hadn't even sold one property, she was one woman that came to me and said, I brought you into this team for a reason. I know that you could do it. And I was saying, but it's not looking good. Why are other people listing properties? And I kept on cold calling, nothing, Yeah. And she was saying, then change your script. It's clearly not working. And every time I walked into the office anxious, I thought of her. And she'd always say to me that, remember why you're here, remember your end goal, remember why I brought you into this team. And that kept me going. I mean, on rainy days when I did not even want to go because I'm thinking, 3 taxis to get to just cold call.
Girl,
at that time, all I saw was, okay, I'm going to the office, I'm going to canvas for listing appointments. And for me, I didn't even want to get out of bed at times. But she saw the end goal of Kay sitting here, advising people on property, sitting on the private property podcast, you know. And she was one woman that really just encouraged me. Another thing was I had support from my mother, you know, I had support from family to say, you can do it. You know, it doesn't have to be all perfect for you to start winning. You start where you are. You start pushing where you are. You don't have to wait for perfect conditions to make it.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
Okay, is there any, you know, specialized funding? You talk about the support that you had from your coach.
Yeah.
You got support from your mom and other family members.
Yes.
And I think there's really a magical thing that happens when women, especially Black women, come together to like work at something and create something.
Yeah.
There's a community, a sense of community and building and ubuntu about it that helps people just really like access the feeling of the thing and the motivation of the thing and grow.
Yeah.
So outside of that, I'm curious as to like, besides coaching and like your mom and like the other women in the industry who you look up to and admire and would, you know, you'll attend talks and listen to them speak and go, you know, I'm really taking this note and this note from this and that person. Are there any sort of specialized schemes, specifically now funding wise, because we know that's a massive barrier to entry, that are geared towards women trying to enter the property sector as practitioners?
Yeah, well, there are various funding schemes, but there's one that actually enabled me to even get where I am today. It's called the CSOS, the Community Scheme Ombud Services. So what they do is that they manage body corporates, you know, your complex, your rates and taxes. So they actually make sure that all the laws are implemented and everything is in place and check. So what they usually do is that they bring in people, and it's mostly 50%, if not more, of Black women, because the requirement is that the CSOS dominates in Black ownership, you know. So you come in there as, maybe you can even work in there as a executive managing agent. That's what they called. So from an executive, yeah, I know, right? Like, I'm an EMA.
Just the word like exec is in your title.
Executive
like,
managing agent.
it.
Yeah. So what you do is that you manage a corporate. They allocate to you 2 or 3 body corporates, and you start managing those complexes. And I mean, if you do that, when you look at it in an entrepreneurial space, you're actually in business now, because these people are giving you body corporates to manage. And you might have walked in there as just an agent that is checking if everything is okay, doing the invoicing. But now because of that, you have your door in it. You have your leg in the door, you know. And I always say, you don't have to find 100% funding schemes, because I tell you this, one thing that is really beautiful about you growing as a person, growing in business, is you looking back and saying, I did it. How did I get here? No, wait, I needed 500,000 rand to get here, but no, wait,
I didn't have it.
No, wait, I didn't have funding. What happened? You know, so I think you need to look at it that way. In as much as there are funding, and I mentioned CSOS, there's also Spartan, where they fund SMEs, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm also saying, like, I just want to shift focus from people trying to find funding in order to make it, because what that does, it opens the doors for laziness, it opens the doors for procrastination, it opens the doors for maybe not now, which is procrastination. So when you get into the jungle, you know that you have to do everything it takes to get out of that jungle.
Do or die. Sink
so
or swim.
You don't have to, because what happens when you apply for funding and you wait a year later?
You wait until they say yes, and then you start the thing.
You're waiting for 2-3 years. What could you have done in that 2 to 3 years? You could have taken 100K that you might have raised to build a block of rooms in a township area that is bringing you a profit of 3,500.
Low cost housing is still housing.
Exactly.
It's still property.
Yeah. So yes, there are various fundings that are available, but I always say that don't wait until you are approved for a funding. Do what you can with what you have wherever you are. There's always a way out.
How important do you think mentorship is?
It's important
when it comes to this, because now the things you're saying are important, but only you can say them because only you know them right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In comparison to me, who's still trying to start out, and then there I am. I'm waiting for the funding email to come through to say you've been approved. Congratulations.
Yes.
So there's obviously a gap and a role here.
Sure.
For some kind of mentorship, some kind of upliftment program, some kind of program that says, okay, come. We will pass on our knowledge. We'll pass on our expertise from one woman to another, woman to woman. I'm coming to you to tell you do A, B, C, D, E.
So mentorship is important. But also what I've realized is that not everyone is open to mentor people. People People are very, very careful with their time, where they spend their time. Time is expensive.
No, say the word you wanted to say.
Yeah.
I saw the word on the tip of your tongue. I saw it. Say the word you want to say.
No, time is very expensive. Time is very expensive. And what I always say to people, when people ask me, what do I do if I want to do this? When I want to get into the property market? And I ask, okay, how many seminars have you attended? No, not really. I just saw one. Did you go to that one? No, there are a lot of seminars, webinars. But what do you do to get that information? Because a mentor can mentor you, but when they start seeing that you're not playing your part, you're not pulling your weight, they become reluctant to assisting you further. So mentorship is important, but also what are you doing on your end? How many seminars are you attending? Have you subscribed to the Private Property Podcast?
Girl! Yes!
To know more, about property, the ins and outs. You guys are always feeding people with information, And what are you doing with that information? Are you taking down notes? When you're at church, and the preacher is speaking, you're always taking just notes. You go back.
I do not go to church, but I know what she's talking about. Let's say when you're in a lecture.
You read, you go through those notes, and you learn more. The information is available for everyone, but personalize that information. Do as much research as you can. I always sound like a broken record when I talk about location, when I talk about research, because without proper research and location, you are not investing and you're not pulling any weight in property and marking your territory in property.
Not marking your territory, honey.
Yeah.
Kay is yelling at you and begging you to invest in yourself. Pull your weight, do your part.
Yes, please.
Kay, I didn't know you'd come here to shout at people today. Listen, what kind of support within the property sector? Now we've spoken about the mentorship, the webinars, the coaching, the financial assistance.
Yes.
If someone wants to start a business like you have, they're looking at you going, one day I want to be Kay and I want that day to be in 6 months' time, 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
I don't know if those timelines are realistic. Yeah. I'm just the presenter of a podcast. But what's there? What's available? What is give me 3 things, Sibs, go and do this now.
Well, that is dependent on how you want to enter into the property sector.
Right.
Whether you want
I don't have money to buy
property.
Yes.
Then you enter as an agent.
Okay.
You start from scratch. You enter as a real estate agent, and now we have fancy names. You're not a real estate agent, you're a property practitioner,
honey.
Property practitioner.
Yes.
So you walk into it as a property practitioner, and with you doing that, you're learning the ins and outs of property. You're learning how to deal with buyers. You're learning patience. You're learning how to take people for viewings. And I mean, there's a logbook training that's required before you can even qualify to be an agent. Start your own company. And before you can start your own company, you need to go through that steps, the logbook training, and be under a company that takes you as an intern. So if you want to enter into it like that and not just someone that is just buying properties to develop, buying land, then get into it then like a real estate agent and start from scratch. The building phase may be a bit tricky, but definitely worth it at the end.
How do I come under your wing?
Under my wing?
Yeah. No, because now you're talking about other agencies. Talk about your own. You're a CEO.
So you want to come into
I want to come into Kay's
But
world.
I can't just say I want to take you. What if I'm still analyzing if I want you in my team?
No, that's what I'm saying. But how do you even begin to analyze before you give out your contact details? That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, to become a part of Kay, I really want to sit down and talk to people. That's what I always do. When someone talks to me and says, I want to enter into the industry, let's meet up for coffee. Because some people want to enter into the industry for wrong reasons. It looks nice when ladies walk and they have their high heels on and they take people for viewing.
Who says that?
And
I
then
would do
there's a lot
viewings
of-
first of all in tracksuit pants and sneakers.
Like, I want to just learn how to be. I want money. I want lots of money.
Okay.
You know, so sometimes it's better for me to sit down with the person
And assess.
you know, and just see the mindset. If this one after 2 months, they'll definitely walk out of the door. You know, but yeah, before I get someone to work with me, I usually just sit down to just gauge where they are and see if really they want to be in the property sector. And that's when we start the process of training, making sure that I come with you. I actually had one lady that I went to 2 of my viewing appointments with, and she was shocked. She was just like, this is a lot of work. You know, and I gave her a task and I said, should you have this house under your name, under your portfolio, how would you put it out there? And she struggled to actually, you know, just put it properly on private property. That's the kind of training that I look into before I can bring someone on my team, in my team.
But Kay's door is open.
Very much open.
But there are some historical roadblocks and disadvantages that people have faced, especially people who look like us.
Yes.
Which is why there are not very many Kay Monarengs right now.
Yeah.
So how do we identify those and then work towards just stripping those disadvantages?
Well, it all stems from property inheritance. It starts from there when someone actually...
Generational wealth.
Yeah, it's just like, not this woman, let's rather have Mr. So-and-so handle this, because this woman is supposed to just stay in the house and do the chores and so forth, you know. I personally struggled when I noticed that this was going to be a struggle. I looked for someone of my color and who was a male having his own company. I said, okay, you always preached Black empowerment. You always preach this. This is my vision. This is what I want to achieve. Can you take me under your wing as a property advisor? Can we try that on my way to me meeting the requirements and just building K Property Consultants? And he agreed. And I was under his wing with a team of other 3 women, and we built together to try to, individually of course, to get where I am today.
I hear you. And, you know, I only bring it up because almost every year in the news, it comes up.
It does.
That there's an agent who said something about the requirements of who can live in the building. I have to get my friend called Hannah to phone in to book a viewing for me. There are serious problems here.
Yeah, there
and
are.
divides that are historical that need to be.
If I could mention that, I don't think you call me again. So,
Abo Penny Sparrow.
So
what was her? In fact, I'm not going into it. That's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about women in property.
Yes.
What advice would you give to a Sibs or a K or a Mbali or a Lunati?
It always looks impossible until it's done. You'll never know what's in it for you until you take the first step. So it's not about helpers finding you, but you being active in order for people to find you and notice the talent that is in you, you know. Example, might be sitting at the Private Property Podcast and someone's like, actually, how about we have a show about this and this and that, and let's call K. But no one would have known that there is a K if I didn't put myself out there. So put yourself out there. I always say there's money everywhere. Pick it up.
Pick it up.
Just pick it up. There's money everywhere. Just go and pick it up.
All right, sweetie. Taking up space like Zosie told us to do.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me in studio. I love having you.
Me too.
Green for money, honey.
And we are always aligning.
We're so aligned.
Look.
Oh my gosh. I want to be as rich as you. Maybe you can take me under your wing. Listen.
Wow, I receive.
Thank you for coming. We will talk again soon. And we sincerely appreciate all of Kay's insights and contributions. Thank you to you, our viewers, for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed tonight's topic as much as I did. For more information, You can click on the link below or in the description. Katlego, all the best for 2023.
Thank you.
Guys, don't forget to share your thoughts on today's show by using the hashtag find your new home on privateproperty.co.za and hashtag the Private Property Podcast on all social media. Remember, you can find your new home on privateproperty.co.za. I'm Sibs Matiela. This has been the Private Property Podcast, and I will see you again. Good night.